Hey everybody, TWA here with another build. Today I'll be building Academy's F-89J in 1:72 scale. I also wanted to note that right about on our channel birthday about a month and a half ago, we hit 5,000 subscribers. I can't thank you all enough, and I'm eager to have the opportunity to continue showing my builds to more of you folks. Fitting for an anniversary, this is something of a legacy model. Most of the cockpit assembly and the initial paint layers were done 2 or 3 years ago, and then the model went back on the shelf. I picked it up again to knock out quick as part of something that isn't a series for you guys, but it is a series for me. I finally reached the stage where I need to stop the inflow of new boxes to the stash and work on clearing some of the volume out. Good for all of you, hopefully. I shouldn't be as bereft of content. Helping to date this part of the video somewhat, when I cut holes for the armament pylons, I was still twisting my knife. This works, but I've since learned that the small investment it takes to get a cheap pin vise is very worthwhile. The interior base coat was sprayed so long ago that I don't really have any idea exactly what I used. I know it was an out-of-the-bottle Tamiya gray, probably dark gray, but I couldn't say for sure. I just did it by eye to pictures in any case. The instrument panel and control faces were painted with Vallejo flat black, thinned with water. Seat cushions were painted with Vallejo olive drab. The headrests were painted with flat red by the same. I initially painted the intake fan with Vallejo flat black. The instrument panel and control surfaces, after they had dried, were then dry brushed with Vallejo light gray. not entirely certain what this is, perhaps a radar? In any case, I painted it with a mix of Vallejo Hull red and red to match pictures I found of an example in a museum. I highlighted this by adding some rusty orange to the mix. Given the scale and nature of the aircraft, I didn't bother with cockpit weathering and just threw the painted pit right into the fuselage. Before joining the fuselage halves, the exhaust nozzles were glued into place. The whole kit fit rather well with the exception of this belly plate. Just due to the nature of the joint, I expected a poor fit width-wise, but it was significantly too long and required trimming to be attached. The model is greatly helped by its very rear-placed main landing gear and didn't require much weight to bring to settle. A bit of tungsten putty shoved into the front of this piece did the job. The inlets are one of the only extruding details on the fuselage and have outsized visual impact. Hollowing out the front is an easy and worthwhile improvement. The genies fit together surprisingly well without much putty or sanding. Because of the very light gray which forms the main body color, appreciating was done with a random reddish brown in lieu of the standard black. Gray could also work for these lighter colors, but I think brown adds a bit of warmth. I believe the color is supposed to be aircraft gray, which I mix with 1 part XF23, 2 parts XF66, and 7 parts XF2. Besides the main color, I apparently didn't get any footage of the rest of the painting or decaling. The decal process is the same as any of my other build videos. Painting followed the process seen on the Falcons. Black, mask what stays black, white, mask what stays white, then red. The exhaust was painted with a mixture of Tamiya silver, gloss clear, and gloss black. After a clear coat over the decals, Flory Model's grime wash was applied. The Flory Model's wash is removed with a water-dampened towel moving in the direction of airflow. On a kit as generally pleasant as this fault is very annoying. The front landing gear bay has basically nothing for locators and the instructions are very unclear. This is a very difficult part to get to sit correctly and required an appalling amount of glue. In comparison, the main landing gears snap into place quite solidly. While waiting for the landing gear to completely set, I hung the armament. This F-89 is carrying 2 Genie missiles and 4 Falcon. The J's can carry the hybrid fuel rocket wingtip pods, but they aren't depicted on the kit. Finally, the canopy was attached with a careful application of Tamiya extra thin cement. All things considered, I rather liked this kit. The detail was solid even if a fair bit of it was raised. For the most part, the fit was acceptable, and the cockpit is a lot more detailed than many other kits provide at this scale. The big thing to look out for, as always, is Academy's pretty terrible decals. I didn't even try to use the large ones, and it was a good decision. Don't bother with the anti-glare or tail decals. It will look far better and be far less frustrating to just mask and paint these yourself. Thanks for checking out the build. The next video will also be a clearing the whip shelf project, to be TBD and release, but probably late January. See you then!